Now we all know how mushrooms go so nicely with eggs, so I'm going to do some scrambled eggs with fried mushrooms. But instead of just doing classic mushrooms with garlic, I'm going to give it a bit of a Japanese twist by adding some miso to the butter and garnishing with this gorgeous seasoning called furikake. So let's start with our mushrooms. I'm going to turn my pan on. You want the pan to be quite hot so we're searing off the mushrooms and getting a little colour. So just on a high heat, I'll add just a small amount of oil, about a teaspoon's worth, so olive oil, and a small knob of butter. So while that's melting away, I'm just going to chop up the mushrooms. I've got these gorgeous Swiss brown mushrooms. You can slice them if you like. I like a bit of texture, so I'm going to quarter them. Okay, that's plenty. Pop them into that hot butter. Good sizzle there. And we're just going to coat them in that oil. All right, we're just going to allow them to cook for a few moments while we get on to the eggs. So to give this a really creamy, luscious consistency, I like to add some cream. You can use thickened cream, but I'm a big fan of sour cream in my scrambled eggs too. So a generous spoonful of the sour cream into a bowl. And because it's quite thick and we do want it to mix in with our eggs, I suggest just giving it a whisk first to loosen up the cream, and that ensures we don't have any big lumps of sour cream in our scrambled eggs. So I'll just give that a bit of a tap, and then in with our eggs. I'm going to do a 3-egg scrambled egg. So pop them in, lovely fresh eggs. Okay. Also a pinch of salt. And we're going to break up those yolks and really give that a whisk until everything's combined nicely. All right, that is looking good. Now the eggs take moments to cook, so let's finish off our mushrooms. You can see we've got some lovely colour here. Now I'm going to add some more butter, so another knob of butter, and this is just to finish it off. So you need that butter to cook the garlic. So a clove of garlic, a large garlic clove, because we know mushrooms and garlic love each other quite a lot. We're just going to coat that in the garlic. And you really do want to leave that garlic to the last moment so it doesn't burn. So we just want to soften it and allow it to flavour those mushrooms. And just with that little extra butter, you can see how much those mushrooms are glistening. Now on to the miso. Now there's many varieties of miso. I'm using a light sweet miso, and it's salty, it's umami, it's savoury, it's fantastic with mushrooms. Heat goes off, and we'll just leave them in the pan to keep warm while we finish off the eggs. Now, if you've got a small amount of butter left over, that can go into the pan with the eggs. So we'll just melt that along with a tiny splash of oil again. Drizzle that around the pan. And while that's quite hot, we can add our eggs. We'll just pour that straight in. And when I'm making scrambled eggs, I don't agitate the pan straight away. So you want to give it a moment just to set on the bottom of the pan, and then we can start bringing it into the centre or across the pan. And you can see all those lovely ripples of egg are forming. So keep turning that. And as I push the set eggs to one side, I bring in the wet eggs and it continues to cook. And that ensures that it cooks really nice and evenly. And see how it's still fluffy and soft on the top? That's how I like it. Heat can go off and it continues to cook as it sits there. Okay, time to plate up. So some toast, got some hot sourdough, and I like to add some olive oil to my toast, just on both sides. Our little mushrooms, we'll just give that one final toss and we'll add them to one side. Fantastic. Nice generous breakfast this is. And our stunning scrambled eggs, they can go on the other side. Great. And for the garnish, the furikake, which is that combination of seaweed, salt and sesame seeds. You can get this from your supermarkets now, but you can also find it at any Asian grocer. Sprinkle that over everything. It is that delicious. So over the mushrooms and over the eggs, and that is a delicious breakfast. That looks like a very fancy breakfast from a fancy cafe, but you can make this at home. If you haven't tried miso mushrooms, that in itself is spectacular. Pop it with eggs, a wonderful breakfast or even a simple dinner.